this search warrant earlier today detailing why deputies needed to go into Hackman's home.
It's not normal to find 2 people deceased in the residence. That's concerning. And then there was also a dog that was in a kennel. This revealed that his last event was recorded on February 17th, 2025. We will look and try to gain access to the cell phones. We'll be analyzing cell phone data.
To some degree, they have now answered many questions, but investigators have been trying to piece together the couple's final movement. It could be mistaken for something else, and of course it can be very serious. But it does paint this rather grim picture. But after this seemingly mysterious circumstances, now a number of questions have been answered.
All right, guys, strap in, because today's story is one you probably didn't see coming. Ever watched a Hollywood flick and thought, there's no way stuff like this actually happens? Well, apparently the answer is yes. Yes, it does. And Gene Hackman was hiding proof of it in his living room wall. And I wish I was kidding. Gene Hackman, you know him, 2-time Oscar winner, Hollywood legend, and possibly the scariest Lex Luthor of all time, was chilling in his massive Santa Fe mansion with his wife Betsy. Retired, relaxed, probably enjoying life far away from Hollywood's glittery madness. But here's the thing, Gene had a secret. And I'm not talking about secret recipe for his grandma's pasta sauce secret. I mean hidden safe in the wall full of scandalous Hollywood documents kind of secret. Yeah, that level of drama. Now, Gene Hackman did not strike me as the type of person who would represent James Bond. Nonetheless, it appears that he was living the lifestyle of a secret agent right under everyone's nose.
Getting just for a second and say, sitting out there next to Barbara Harris reminds me of my first acting scene ever, who has already received his prize tonight, but I have to thank him because he really brought me through this when I wanted to quit.
This safe was discovered by the police during a regular check that was conducted following Hackman's untimely demise. It was a complete and utter chance. And here's a piece of advice. If you ever intend to conceal your Hollywood conspiracy documents, you might want to reconsider placing your secret safe behind a bookshelf like you're in a low-budget espionage thriller. This is because the police have already discovered it.
The Santa Fe Sheriff's Office filing this search warrant earlier today detailing why deputies needed to go into Hackman's home.
What is it? It's an emergency.
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house.
It's not normal to find 2 people deceased in the residence. That's concerning. And then there was also a dog that was in a kennel.
When officers finally got the safe open, which took 2 whole hours and a specialized drill, by the way, I guess Gene bought the deluxe villain edition, they weren't greeted with diamonds or stacks of cash. Nope, they found documents, audio tapes, black and white photos, and weird Hollywood contracts sealed with blood? Okay, who's writing Hollywood's HR policies? Voldemort? Anyway, let's dive into this madness.
This revealed that his last event was recorded on February 17th, 2025. We will look and try to gain access to the cell phones. We'll be analyzing cell phone data.
Among these papers was a literal list of Hollywood figures who'd mysteriously vanished from the spotlight. Gene scribbled ominous notes next to their names like missing, silenced, or blacklisted. It was like Hollywood's own twisted version of Santa's naughty list, but way darker and with fewer cookies. One example? Jonathan West, an Oscar-winning director who disappeared in 2004 after turning down a big studio project. Just poof, gone. Next to his name, Hackman wrote missing. Elaine Carter, another vanished starlet from the 80s. Gene tagged her silenced. Then there's Michael J. Reeves, the screenwriter who vanished faster than my paycheck on Amazon Prime Day, labeled simply blacklisted. I'm telling you, this safe was like a Netflix series waiting to happen. Hackman, a notoriously private guy, somehow got his hands on Hollywood's deepest, darkest secrets. But why him? He wasn't exactly TMZ material. He rarely spoke publicly after retirement, so how did this low-key Hollywood retiree suddenly turn into Sherlock Holmes? Well, turns out Hollywood was dirtier than we thought, and Gene apparently knew it all. He even left behind audio tapes labeled, "Hollywood backroom deals do not open." Seriously, Gene, do not open? That's basically a neon sign saying, "Press play immediately," which of course police did. But here's the kicker. When they went through these tapes, it felt like listening to a podcast titled Hollywood's Greatest Hits and Misses. And by misses, I mean people literally missing. The situation then becomes even more bizarre. A number of Hollywood contracts that sounded like they were taken directly from a horror movie were found by the Public Safety Department. When we talk about documents, we are talking about contracts in which performers and filmmakers essentially signed away their lives. There were even those who sealed the contract with a signature in blood, thereby guaranteeing that Hollywood studios would maintain eternal control. Is it blood? Is that true? I mean, I thought that signing a deal with Netflix was already a difficult experience, but it seems that Hollywood is taking a cue from Dracula. On the other hand, just when you thought things couldn't possibly get any stranger, the cops discovered that some of these contracts had miraculously disappeared from the safe before they arrived.
New Mexico court to seal the records in this case to, she says, protect the family's right to privacy. Court now, Jules, has agreed to seal all of that evidence, at least for now, but we know a hearing has been scheduled.
To a degree, they have now answered many questions, but investigators have been trying to piece together the couple's final movement. It could be mistaken for something else, and of course it can be very serious. But it does paint this rather grim picture. But after this seemingly mysterious circumstances, now a number of questions have been answered.
In essence, it appears as though someone broke into Gene Hackman's secret safe and selected the most juicy information. Important pages have been taken out, and there are gaps in vital material. Who broke in, and why didn't Hackman report it? That is the true question that needs to be answered for now. What's my guess? It's likely that he came to the realization that Hollywood has eyes everywhere, much like the Illuminati, but with Botox. The security cameras at the mansion just so happened to quit operating a few weeks before Hackman passed away, which added another layer of intrigue to the mystery. Is it his medical history, suddenly lacking something? Colleagues at work, all of a sudden forgetful? At this point, it seems as though we are dealing with Men in Black, minus the fashionable sunglasses and the catchy theme music. And then there was the note that Gene had written by hand. Yes, yet another twist in the tale. It read, "There are things I cannot change, but the truth will always find a way." These words carried a sense of foreboding. I don't know what else could possibly be more mysterious than that Hollywood moment. It's almost as if he penned this letter with the knowledge that he would one day be portrayed in a movie adaptation on the part of someone, perhaps Nicolas Cage or Tom Hanks. He also sent another message in which he said in a terrifying manner, "Don't trust anyone, they own everything." Despite the fact that it seems like the kind of advice you could receive from a paranoid uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, the fact that it comes from Gene Hackman stands out.
The deaths of actor Gene Hackman and his wife. There's new evidence. It paints a different picture of the timeline.
Hackman's wife, Betsy, called a medical concierge service sometime before she died. The timing here is so key, right? It could impact Hackman's massive $80 million estate. New information around the timing of their deaths could determine what happens with their fortunes. So some really big questions.
It's not uncommon to find someone down on the floor as part of a terminal collapse. And I think that question's difficult to answer, but I can tell you that he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's.
On the other hand, he concluded the note by stating, "Look beneath the silver screen." The question that we are all left thinking about is whether or not Gene left a treasure map behind. Alternatively, was it a metaphor? Due to the fact that, in all honesty, Hollywood is almost as obsessed with metaphors as they are with scandals. But here's where it gets next level creepy. Police discovered blank pages stamped restricted, chemically wiped clean of text. Did Gene or someone else erase them? I'll keep secrets, but I'm taking some to the grave. If you're erasing documents with chemicals, you're either a secret agent or my mom deleting her browser history. There's no in between. During the time that investigators were trying to piece together this Hollywood horror story, they received a terrifying call from an unknown caller. Someone murmured to themselves, "You're looking for the wrong documents. The real ones are still out there." What exactly is this, the Hunger Games in Hollywood? The number of layers of conspiracy that we're dealing with here is absolutely staggering.
The Santa Fe Fire Department also called and found no signs of a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. They're collecting several different things, including technology, clothing worn by Gene and his wife, as well as anything that could have been used. In a press conference just about 2 hours ago, they tell us Gene Hackman may have been dead for about 10 days or so. This investigation could take a while, but they have ruled out now carbon monoxide after talking to the metal investigator.
The sheriff's department was there for a long time. The fire department was there for a long time. We wanted to make sure our people were safe and there was no hazards in the room. It was not an easy house to get through, and it took a long time to find all the rooms.
Without a doubt, Gene Hackman made a discovery that was much more significant than himself. It is possible that this is the reason why he chose to retire in a secluded location far away from Hollywood. It is possible that this is the reason why his life came to a premature and unexplained end. Perhaps it was because he knew too much, or even worse, because Hollywood knew he knew too much. However, what about the documents that are missing? Who took possession of them first? In a frantic attempt to conceal something, a Hollywood powerhouse? Perhaps Gene's own personal confidant? Alternatively, and this is a completely speculative idea, it is possible that Gene himself concealed or destroyed the most harmful documents in order to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Look, Hollywood has always been shady. Glitzy premieres in public, dirty deals in private, but Gene Hackman's safe took this to another level entirely. And maybe we'll never know the full story. Maybe that's how Hollywood wants it. Stars smiling for cameras, secrets hidden safely behind curtains.
Hackman's pacemaker had its last recording on February 17th, which could mean that was the day he died.
So that, hey, if the last recorded event was on the 17th, that he probably died on the 17th.
Without a doubt. Some new details about the estate of actor Gene Hackman. The estate is looking to block the public release of autopsy.
The death of Gene Hackman and his wife, authorities have offered a new timeline about when she died, which could play a role in where Hackman's fortune goes.
Gene left his $80 million estate to his wife and did not name his children.
But I'll leave you with this final thought. Hollywood sells us magic, but maybe the real magic trick is keeping us from seeing what happens when the cameras stop rolling. And what about Gene Hackman? It is possible that his final act was not ending his career in the film industry. Rather, it was leaving clues for someone who was courageous enough to discover the truth. Unfortunately, that person is probably not me because, to tell you the truth, conspiracy theories are getting too scary. This conspiracy thing is getting too dangerous, and my FBI agent is probably messaging Hollywood agents about me right now. So guys, if I suddenly vanish after this video, just know two things. 1, Hollywood finally got me, and 2, Gene Hackman tried to warn us. But what do you think? Is Hollywood truly hiding a sinister secret, or is this just another celebrity conspiracy theory? And most importantly, if Hollywood really is pulling the strings, would you dare try to expose them? See you next time.